Okay, we're doing this again. Hi, I'm Amy from Amy J's Creations, and this is my Flosstube channel. Welcome back. This is the 27th time I've made one of these videos. If you don't count all the times I've taped one and something was wrong with the audio and we had to throw it away. Couldn't get it to work and I had to refilm it. But that only really happened in the beginning. That I'm getting pretty good at. Well, actually, we stopped trying to use the special extra microphone. So that solved all those problems. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome back. So last time, I had all these fully finished objects. This time I have two finishes, a mini finish and a full finish, but nothing completely done. So I hope I didn't set the bar too high for any new viewers, because that's not a regular occurrence. All right, so let's go ahead and start with my first finish. Ta-da! My Truth North sampler. It's all done. This is from Twin Peak Primitives. It's awesome sauce. I'm going to grab something to put behind it really quick to see if that helps. Kind of. All right, so I love the little Mountie. Super cute. But my favorite is the little Canada geese. That's my geese noise. Flying. I loved it. Now, I did make a couple changes on this. First of all, you may notice, if you go back and watch last video, you will see that around the house, around the windows in the cabin and the door, it looks different than last time. I have trouble reading the pattern. And I thought that color was supposed to be the red. Nope, it was supposed to be the white. But I discovered it when I was partly still working on the cabin and decided to leave it so that it would make stitching everywhere else around it easier. And then I went ahead and ripped it out with a seam ripper. And there's still red fuzz all over my floor because I haven't vacuumed since then. And then restitched it with the white. So, okay. So that was a change to the pattern that was not planned and had to be fixed later. The second one was the called for colors originally were a orangey, reddish orange brown and a cream color for the red and the white. And on their website, there isn't a stitched model for this. It's only a mock-up. And so I don't know if the DMC dye lot that they have was more of a red or what. But for me, when I pulled that number, it wasn't red. And I was like, this is a Canada sampler. I want it to have red. So I substituted out that weird orangish brownish red for a true red. It is a no-name. I'm trying to see if I can. I can't. It's a no-name DMC that my friend, or not DMC, floss that my friend gifted me. She had a whole pack of a whole bunch of colors. I don't know, they probably made in China or something. I don't know, but she gave them to me. And quite honestly, some of those colors are amazing. And this red, again, let's try to put something back here. This red is such a great red. And I used almost an entire skein. So I have one skein left on that. And then I went ahead and used B5200 for the white so it would be sure and show up, even though I coffee tea dyed this. Well, not coffee, but I did tea dye this and baked it. There were certain spots where it's darker, certain spots where it's lighter. And again, I wanted to be sure it was a true vibrant white. I'm happy with the fabric choice, and I'm happy with those two color changes. I also did add eyes to the geese. They did not originally have any eyes, but I added those because I just think they look so much cuter now that they can actually see where they're going. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a good iron and frame it soon. But I wanted to get on to my next project, so I didn't take the time to do that yet. So it'll be all ready to hang up for Canada Day on July 1st. All right, so that was the first WIPGO number that was called for this month. The second WIPGO number is my Prejudice, Pride and Prejudice blessings from, here's some of the red fuzz that was still on all my projects from ripping out all that red. Anyway, Pride and Prejudice from Lindy Stitches. Blessings. I started this. I showed it on my last video, but I hadn't started, I had started working on it, but I hadn't started it for WIPGO numbers yet. It was just in my plans. So I completed some of the black writing here, did Pemberley, and did all of this in 4 days. I do not think, my goal was to work on this for 10 days. If I happen to finish it, great. If not, fine. Because I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself of like, I have to finish things, but rather, oh, I'm so close. If I just work for an extra, stay up a little bit later tonight, I can finish this on the 10th day. That's kind of my feeling, to make it fun and spur me on, but not make me depressed or defeated, because no one should be depressed or defeated while doing cross stitch. This is a fun, relaxing hobby. If you're feeling depressed and defeated, you might want to take a good look at how you're doing things and change something up. So, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be finished in the next 2-ish days, especially since after I finish filming this, I will have a good 2 to 3 hours, maybe even 4, to work on this today, and then I got nothing going on tomorrow, and because it's vacation still, and so I'll be able to get a lot done. So there is that. And then I did work some on my hometown holidays. Now, I will admit that I have not been working on this every day. Sorry, I'm trying to get the zipper open and I got floss stuck in it. There we go. Phew. I've not been working on this every day, but I've been working on it in batches. Like, instead of 25 minutes a day, I've realized that the way I work is I get a project and I work on it for a whole bunch for a while, and then I can set it aside and work on something else for a whole bunch, but I get into it while I'm into it, and I don't like switching back and forth, which is why like Mania with starting a new start every day would drive me bonkers. I've never done that. Or March Madness, where they have all these, now you gotta switch every day for your brackets. It's absolutely fascinating to watch those. I love participating in the polls. For everyone that I follow that does March Madness, I try to vote all the time. But I, myself, that would make me sad. Frustrated. So what I do is I work on my WIPGO projects for a while, and then I take a day or two and work just on this. So, but I have finished the flower shop, and I do need to put the eye in the little bird, I guess. And what I did is I put red there. It was supposed to be like a pinky, but I changed it to the same red I used to make the door and the bird for the little window frames. And then the pattern, this is supposed to be in like a slightly lighter brown than the background, and it's just supposed to say florist. And I talked about this before, that I think it should be something brighter and more happier. So I used the same like fleshy pink that was used for the skin and all the people down here. And I used that and just kind of charted it myself. Sat there, and I did have to pull it out. We were watching SEAL Team, we didn't watch it when it first came out. So we're like on season 3. But we watched like 1 or 2 a night. So while we were watching that, I stitched it, pulled it out, stitched it, pulled it out, stitched it till I got it lined up. If I had done this on graph paper, that probably would have been better, but I would have had to get up and get graph paper. I ain't got no time for that. I'm sitting in my comfy spot on the couch stitching. I'm just going to stitch it 6 times. Anyway, so I wrote Flower Barrel. And the reason it says Flower Barrel is, as I mentioned last episode, that is the name of the flower shop that I worked at in high school. Now I'll tell you a little story about this because my daughter mentioned in the comments that she didn't know I worked at a flower shop. So I was like 16. Yeah, I was 16, almost 17. And the lady I babysat for all the time always bought flowers at this flower shop, you know, the little thing in the, like a kiosk, but it was in the shape of a barrel, flower barrel. Get it? Always bought flowers there when she stopped to buy gas at the gas station that was right by it. And she got talking to the guy, and he was talking about how he needed help, and she basically got me the job. And so I worked there for a while, and it was really fun. And one of our perks was every week on Friday night, or Friday when we left our shift, we were allowed to take home a dozen roses, which was kind of fun. But after I'd worked there for about 3.5 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, I hadn't gotten paid yet. If I remember, he gave us, yes, maybe he'd given us, had I gotten a paycheck? I don't think I had. I'm trying to remember. Because I'm supposed to get paid every 2 weeks, and I hadn't got one. And I remember my fellow co-workers complaining about, oh, he says we're not going to get paid again on time. Last paycheck bounced when I, tried to deposit it, and I had to wait a while. Oh, this is so frustrating. And I was like, you mean I've been working all this time, and I'm not going to get paid? So I went home and told my dad, I'm like, look, he hasn't paid me yet. And all these people are talking about that the paychecks are bouncing. So my dad drove right back. He's like, do you have a list of all the hours you've worked? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Because the guy was not keeping track. I had to keep track. Very fishy. So I had it written down the dates and the hours I worked. My dad goes in, hands the guy this piece of paper, and he's like, my daughter no longer works for you, but I'm standing right here and I'm not leaving till you give her cash out of your register to pay her back wages. I don't want a check from you because those are worth nothing. I want the actual cash that you owe my daughter. And the guy looked at my dad, pulled out the cash, handed it to him. Bye, no hard feelings, see ya. So I didn't work there for very long. And it didn't end on very good. But it did have really beautiful flowers and a super cute sign. So this is to remember that. And so the next one I'm going to work on is the quilt store, of course, because I like to do quilts. Okay, so future plans. I'm going to continue to work on Pride and Prejudice, and I'm probably going to finish it. I did take some time off for like Easter preparations. And I'm not sure if I'm going to bring it to Mallorca. We're going on Tuesday. Because it probably will be done by then. So then I'm trying to think of something kind of easy and small and fun that I could bring to Mallorca. And I think, where do I have it? Let's see. There was a free Easter pattern that was on somebody's blog. I am woefully unprepared for this. Hold, please. Found it. Okay, it was by Cherry Hill Stitchery. It's a freebie, and it's this little happy Easter with a chick. Now, I had kind of done a whole bunch of Easter things, and I didn't really need it anymore, but I had pulled all the threads for this, and I had started it on, I even cut a piece of fabric, and I started it. Let me go back here. On this pink. Originally, this was printed on a black. And I was like, but black's not like Easter and pastel-y, which is what I love about Easter. And all my other Easter designs are on pastel-y colors. But the more I'm stitching this yellow, and the more I'm looking at the other colors that are supposed to be in it, and the more I'm looking at the original design, what makes it so awesome is that it's on black. So I'm not so far invested that I feel like, my life is a waste. Never. Remember, don't get depressed and defeated when you're doing cross stitch. So I have not gotten so far invested that I would be defeated and depressed if I set this aside and start over again. So I think I'm going to probably take some black even weave that I have, and I think it's like a 28 or 30 count, so it's pretty easy, and stitch this little freebie on that, just to have it ready to go for next year. Maybe, because it's still kind of springy and cute. And I might even leave off the Happy Easter, because my husband keeps bugging me about, like, when is all the Easter stuff coming down? Easter's over with. And I'm like, but I worked a really long time making all that stuff, and it's so cute and it's so springy, and some of it, can stay up. So he's ready for the spring Easter decorations to come down, but I am not. So I think I will take down the stuff that is all blatantly Eastery and leave the stuff that is just springy. And that's why I'm thinking that maybe I will remove the Happy Easter, because then it's slightly springy. I mean, okay, it's a chick. Clearly, it's in a decorated egg. It's totally Eastery. But, I can justify things. Okay, so that's it. That's my plans. But I did want to talk about a couple of things. So last video, I had met with my friend Dawn, Frosty X Stitch on YouTube here, who lives in Basel. But I didn't really say anything about it. It was awesome. We have been talking on WhatsApp for a while, sending messages back and forth. So it wasn't like this was my first time talking to her, but it was the first time we saw each other in person. It was lovely. We went to eat at a restaurant pretty close to her house that there was like almost nobody else there, so they didn't care. We sat there for forever, got a tea later on, did we stitch? We didn't even stitch. We both brought stitching. We just talked the entire time. Unfortunately, I had to leave a little early because my husband needed the car to go someplace with my younger kids that night. But so I had to get back earlier than I wanted. But it was lovely, and I will meet up with her again soon. And we are planning a stitch retreat, a cross stitch retreat in Basel. We're thinking definitely next year, probably fall of next year. Clearly, we're not expecting anybody from America to come, just like we wouldn't travel all the way to the States for a retreat. That's bonkers. Unless, of course, you have, lots of discretionary disposable income, and then, hey, more power to you, because Switzerland is the best country on earth, and everybody should come visit it at least once in their lifetime. But we were thinking there's quite a few stitchers in Germany. There's quite a few in the Netherlands. Yay, Twin Peak Primitives. There are a few hidden in the woodwork here in Switzerland. And we would just love to it would be very low key, because guess what? We don't have any local needle workshops that could come and do a trunk show. Although there is a online store that's based just across the Swiss border into Germany, we're in talks with maybe them coming and setting up a little mini store with some of their stuff. The DMC Floss Factory is like a half an hour with traffic in France. They used to do tours before COVID, and we're hopeful that it will be far enough in the future that they will be doing tours again. Sadly, there is not a factory outlet store where you can buy a whole bunch of floss for super cheap. But just going to visit it and seeing how it's made would be super fantabulous, I think. And then the rest of the time we would just, it would be like a sit and stitch and chit chat and let's go out to eat and let's show you a little bit of the sights of Basel. Dawn has lived there for like literally her whole life. Okay, she went to school elsewhere, but she is like Basler and she's native. So, you know, the inner city, we could do a great little tour and mostly just sit around and stitch. So we're really looking forward to that. But when I was there, she gifted me 2 patterns. Okay, so this one, I love the sentiment. And I would probably change the colors to purple and turquoise because those are my favorite ever. But I absolutely love the sentiment and I want to turn this into a hanging for in my wall. So my room, on my wall, for in my like cross stitch room. And then this one, okay, so I'm American, but you know, I'm not like, yes, America is the best, because I've lived other places and America's okay, but it's got some problems, you know. But I am still American. But there's also an included extra bonus chart to turn this flag into a Canadian flag. And so now I'm like, I kind of want to stitch it twice. It's a little bit big, but to do that, but yeah, I kind of think that would be fun to have both of them. And then I also thought would be fun is to stitch the flags separately, stitch this just once, and somehow in the finishing, make it so that this stick was an actual stick, and so that I could slide it in to the finishing of this, depending on if it's July 4th or July 1st. What do you think? Huh? I mean, I'd have to do a little finagling to fill in where the flowers are covering up, but like it's red and white stripes, I would just continue with where they were before. So that was very, very cool and nice of her. Thank you very much, Dawn. And then yesterday, in catch up again, I spent another morning with my friend Ina, who we met through Stitch Harmony on Just Keep Stitching, Pam and Steph, and we've met up several times. Oh my gosh, that woman is amazing. She does amazing, beautiful cross stitch work, and she told me the most hilarious stories. So first I was talking to her about some of my child troubles and things, and she was telling me the story of somebody who kind of is like one of my kids, and so it just kind of commiserating with that, and it kind of was like, you know, I was like, yeah, my kid's gonna ruin their life. So then she told me 2 stories where I was laughing so hard, tears streaming down my face, and like my stomach was sore and I was having trouble catching my breath. Thank you, Ina. That was... I laughed just as hard when I told my husband later. Such a good story. So anyway, I mention those to say how thankful I am to this little Flosstube community, because I wouldn't have met Ina and if it wasn't for Pam and Steph, and I wouldn't have met Dawn unless she also had been doing floss tubes. And my friends Carrie and Stitches up in England, come to our retreat, girl. Sue Landriold, I'm naming names. Daniela Dreskin, you are in, I think you're in Lithuania. Come to our retreat, girl. These people who are always leaving comments and so nice. And yeah, so thank you, my friends. You are awesome. That's it for now. I will see you in 2 weeks. Ina did ask me. She's like, I can't figure out your posting schedule. And I'm like, oh, well, here's the truth, people. I film religiously every Thursday. We upload it between Thursday and Sunday. I'm a loser. I'm sorry. But whatever. Yeah. So again, just want to let you know, I have a planned giveaway for when I reach 400 subscribers. I was going to say 500, but I don't think that's an achievable goal for me. But I keep going between 368 and 372. So I'm like, maybe this will give me the bump to 400, where I'm going to give away all the strings from Lizzie Kate. So once I get it, so tell your friends who haven't already subscribed to please subscribe. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and then I will do that giveaway. And other than that, yeah, hope your Easter was awesome. If you celebrate Passover, I hope that was wonderful and lovely, and that you got to spend time with friends and family. And if you are currently celebrating Ramadan, I hope that's going well for you, and that it's also a time of peaceful reflection for you and friends and family. And any other holiday, those are the 3 major holidays that I know about that are occurring right now. If there's others, I just hope you're having a great time, because this is why I like changeable weather. When you've had a winter that's cold and you've had snow, spring is the best thing ever. But if your spring is just like your summer, which is just like your fall, which is just like your winter, which is how it was when I lived in San Diego, boring, 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 boring. I like having changing seasons so I can celebrate the beginning of each month. The first snowfall is absolutely magical. The first daffodils coming out of the ground is absolutely magical. Summer, the first day you can go to the swimming pool. Okay, that's good, but I don't really like the heat. And fall, when those leaves change colors and it's cold enough to finally put a sweater on. Yeah, so hope you're celebrating this beautiful changing of the seasons, and I will see you again in 2 weeks. Bye.